Hey guys, Jack here, and today I'm bringing you some gameplay of the new Giant Shadow map in BF1. It's a free download for everyone. It's available tomorrow if you've got premium, and on the 20th of December, I think, if you haven't got premium. And you're going to see all sorts of stuff in the background there, including a quick look at the new explosive crossbow. But the main meat and bones of this video is going to be the patch notes, because there is a absolutely massive patch coming with this update, and there's a load of good and fantastic fixes in here, and also some gameplay changes. Now, I've not had time to script this video because I've been away for the last 4 days and I've just been completely run off my feet. I haven't really had time to write a script, but I have got the patch notes and I will link them down in the description below as well, and I've highlighted what I think are the most important things. So basically you don't have to sit there for half an hour reading this massive list of patch notes, which are very, very good, to be fair. So first things first, Spectator mode is back. It's being added to the game with this patch, and apparently DICE have gathered feedback from the community and focused on efforts on improving the usability and flow of Spectator mode. So that's in the game now, so check it out if you fancy a buzz. New custom game mode is going to be added called Standard Issue Rifles, and this sounds very cool to me. In this game mode, all kits are granted access to whatever their faction's standard issue rifle is. So for example, the British are going to get the SMLE Mark III, and the Germans are going to get like the Gewehr model, so the 95 and the 98. So all classes have access to bolt action rifles, and from what I can tell, like, that's it. So this is going to be a very much like a classic World War I game mode, I suppose, like what you think World War I would have been like, because in BF1 there's a lot of people running around with shotguns and SMG, and it doesn't really say World War I to your head. So there's going to be a new game mode, new custom game mode called Standard Issue Rifles, and I'm definitely going to be jumping on that and doing some live gameplay commentaries for you to watch, and I think that's going to be pretty fun. It's going to change the gameplay up quite a bit. Right then, moving on to other things that they've changed. Soldier movement, so they've actually fixed the inability to sprint out of crouch and prone in certain situations. I know that was bugging a lot of people, and movement's been tweaked overall apparently as well. Aim assist on console, apparently the aim assist was just way too heavy and very easy to use, and sometimes it would just lock onto a player that you were just strafing past and not even aiming at. So they've tweaked it now, so it's much more intentional now, so you've got to actually be roughly aiming at someone before the aim assist kicks in. So the console guys, I think, are going to notice a massive difference there. And vehicle tweaks, right, they've buffed the Landship because they saw that in their statistics basically no one was using it compared to the light tank and the heavy tank, and it was just being massively underrepresented in gameplay. So they wanted to buff the Landship and bring that role of that tank to be like a team play vehicle. So they've made a few changes to it, so it's got a buff, like a net buff overall. It can now take the same damage as the heavy tank, and also the squad support pattern of the Landship now has a front firing 20mm cannon like the light tank flanker has, instead of an LMG. So if you go with that package for that vehicle, then you're actually going to have some anti-tank capabilities as the driver of the tank. So there's plenty of other adjustments and changes to the Landship, like increasing the range on the mortars and the tank Gewehr damage and accuracy, blah blah blah. So it's a net buff to the Landship overall. So jump in it instead of the light tank and the heavy tank. Bit of teamwork and you could be dominating the battlefield. In terms of air vehicles, not much has changed except for the fighter planes. Fighter planes now have higher damage to their machine guns overall, and bombers are going to take much more damage from the fighter planes' machine guns, specifically kind of giving the fighter planes that, hey, I'm a guy who's flying around in the sky taking out the big guys kind of role. And also the rocket pods that they get have received a velocity boost to make their usage much more consistent. With tanks, they've also fixed the line of sight head glitching that you could do. So I don't know if you guys knew this, but if you were in a tank and behind a wall or an obstacle and you switched to third person, your crosshair would actually be above the wall, and that's where your shots would go. So you could head glitch, you could be completely covered, and you could hit targets that couldn't even see you, basically. So that was a massive exploit, but now thankfully that's been fixed. Moving on to some infantry stuff now. Bayonets players are now going to be able to bayonet charge when they're reloading or when they're out of ammo. Previously, I didn't know this myself because I don't really use the bayonet that much, but if you were out of ammo previously, you couldn't actually bayonet charge for some reason, but surely when you're out of ammo, that's the perfect time that you would want to bayonet charge. But they've apparently completely reworked the bayonet charge system. So now if you're out of ammo or if you're like mid reload, you can just initiate a charge like, boom, I need to go and bayonet charge that guy now or I'm going to die. I can't continue this reload. You can now do that. So that's going to throw in an interesting change to the bayonet gameplay. Shotguns. Yes, the Model 10A Hunter has been nerfed. Shotgun balance across the board has actually had a lot of attention apparently in this update, with the primary goal of evening out the advantages and disadvantages of each type of shotgun. Because apparently DICE, again, they get access to all these stats and they noticed that some shotguns were unintentionally strong at certain distances and longer ranges. The obvious one was the Model 10A Hunter, and that could kill a full health target at long range. So, you know, people were naturally going with the Model 10A over all the other shotguns. But now apparently they've addressed that, and they've also kind of rebalanced the shotguns specifically. I've not played with the new shotguns myself, so I can't comment on exactly how it feels now, but hopefully we're going to see the Model 10 meta go away. LMGs also had a little buff to them as well, so now they're going to be much more consistent at close and medium range. And apparently this was because if you were like an LMG user and you got the drop on someone and you started shooting them in the back, if they had like an Automatico or a Model 10 or basically any other weapon, they could still turn on you even though you got the jump on them and kill you, which is kind of bad, right? So now they're bringing the emphasis back on skill. They've buffed the LMGs a little bit, so if you do get the drop on someone, the accuracy of the light machine gun is going to be really good now, and you should be able to take that player out before they can turn around and destroy you, send you to hell. You can tell this is a live commentary because I'm saying weird shit like that. Moving on to gadgets now. Mortars. Obviously, in the last patch, I think it was, mortars were changed. So you kind of have to wait like 4 seconds before you get an accurate shot and the dot on the minimap. But what DICE found were that basically no one was using them anymore, and so they over nerfed them a bit. So now they've kind of brought it in between where it was when the game launched and where it's been with the latest patch. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays out, and they've reduced some of the inaccuracy added by the last update, and mortars are going to be more accurate when placed and slightly more accurate now during sustained fire. So they're not going to go back to how they were, kind of in between now, and I think that's probably a nice middle ground. Game developers, especially DICE, tend to do this when they make balance changes. They'll go a bit too far one way, but sometimes they'll do that on purpose so they can kind of see the reaction and then kind of find a nice middle ground. Next, quite a significant change to the syringes. DICE have added a short cooldown between syringe uses and the ability to ignore the cooldown if you're near an ammo crate. And apparently this is like 3 goes. So say there's 3 dead teammates in front of you, you go boom, 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 revive all 3. You're going to then have a cooldown before you can revive someone again. And in the footage, you may have noticed there's actually some revive stuff going on in the bottom right. You've actually got like an ammo count for that now, and the intention for this is to kind of reduce that revive train gameplay where it just seems like an endless revive train, and as an aggressor you're killing loads of enemies but they just keep getting popped up, boom boom boom, as the medic can just go through and revive them all. Now this is going to be quite a controversial change, I think, and I'm not really sure how I feel about it at the moment. But the ammo crate thing is, if there's an ammo crate near the medic, then the cooldown of the syringe is going to be completely ignored. So if you're a medic and there's a support player nearby and you kind of say, hey, drop an ammo pack down, they drop an ammo pack down, you can then infinitely revive teammates just like you could before. But if there's no ammo pack, you're going to get, I think it's like 3 or 4 revives before you're gonna have to wait for that cooldown to recharge. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. Interesting, that one. And also for ammo and medical crates, apparently it was quite difficult sometimes to put an ammo crate and medical crate down if there was like something blocking you, but now if there is something blocking you, it's just going to spawn at your feet instead, so you'll always be able to chuck out a medic crate and ammo crate no matter where you are on the map. Explosive icons, they've updated the in-world icons for explosives to properly reflect their team. This one was really annoying for me because you go around and see like a white tripwire bomb and you think, oh, that's just a friendly tripwire bomb, that's not gonna kill me, and then you walk over it and boom, you go bye-bye. So that's been fixed now, so hopefully you won't see any problems with that anymore. A big change to hardcore as well. Obviously the community give massive feedback on hardcore mode, and they've introduced some changes in that custom game mode now, so you can now get a large map as it is in the base game. The map won't show you the position of the objectives and players, but you will be able to kind of open it up and figure out how, okay, I'm here and we need to go there. And basically what they've done with hardcore mode is they want the player to know all of the information that a real soldier would have in World War One. So yeah, you could like pull out a map and be like, okay, I know where I am. You could know roughly how much ammo you have and roughly where a enemy soldier is, but you'll never know exactly. And they've also adjusted the damage as well to kind of bring it in line a bit more with how it is in the vanilla game mode, and it's going from 200% to 125% damage. And apparently, while on paper that looks like a huge change, the 125% damage change will still create far more lethal up close damage for all kits, but it's going to prevent bolt action rifles from being a one-hit kill at all ranges versus all body types. I like these changes, and it's definitely going to incentivize me to actually give hardcore a go now, because the initial version of it was kind of shit, if you ask me. Loads of stability and performance as well in the patch notes. I'm not going to go through them all, but should be good there. Now this one, in terms of gameplay, check this out. Monte Grappa, Suez, Ballroom Blitz and Argonne Forest made changes to certain areas of the map where attackers had a very difficult time capturing specific sectors. And you all know how I feel about that B bunker point on Monte Grappa. There's actually quite a few bunkers on Monte Grappa that just seem impossible to attack. But apparently they've made changes now. They don't specify what they are, so that's going to take us to kind of like go into the game and see what they are. Like I'm hoping that on Monte Grappa they've added another route into that bunker with the fortress gun, or maybe a route from the top. I think that would be good, and also the other maps, going to check those out now. Also for operations, the wording for this is a bit unclear. Like, what do you guys think about this? Reworked how the Behemoth enters the map in operations game mode. The Behemoth will no longer appear if a team is in a significant lead. This affects both attackers and defenders in operations. Defenders will no longer get a Behemoth on a new level if attackers are on their last battalion. That one makes sense to me, and I'm totally up for that. Reduced attacker behemoths to prevent them from getting one on each retry on second and third maps. And again, the wording on that is a bit weird. And also increased score difference between teams needed for the behemoth to appear. So overall, really, this is an absolutely massive patch. And what I've just talked about there, they're the highlights for me. Like, I think they're going to be the stuff that people talk about and make the most impact to the gameplay. So there we have it, guys. Let me know what you think down below. Like I said, I will link the full patch notes in the description so you can check them out for yourself, and I'll have some detailed like gameplay from myself, because this is just B-roll that EA sent to us that we could use, and I think it's on console, or at least it's on PC with a controller. But when the map's out, when the patch is out, expect a full detailed video, like kind of demonstrating and showing you guys exactly what's what, because I haven't had access to the new version of the game and the new map yet. They just kind of gave us the patch notes and some B-roll. Now some omissions, I think stuff that's been left out really in this patch that I kind of wish would have been addressed. Number one is there's no changes to the medal or progression system, because I think that's really lacking. Like, I literally couldn't care less about the medal system in the game at the moment. I don't think I've even completed a medal. It's kind of rubbish if you ask me, and I miss the way that the assignments were in BF4. No update to the server rental program yet either, so it looks like even with this patch we're still not going to be able to kick people from private servers or put a password on, so that's missing. And also in terms of gameplay, yes, this is kind of subjective and each to their own, but no changes in looking at reducing the amount of explosive and gas spam in the game. In fact, they've just added an explosive crossbow, so we'll see how that goes. But it does look like it has a 3-second reload on it, so quite a long cooldown. But yeah, no changes to gas or explosive spam in this patch at all. So that's all for today, folks. If you liked the video, do hit that like button down below. That's much appreciated. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button. Leave me a comment. As always, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.